Ahoy, friends. It's me, Dave Landau. After a long night on stage, I like to kick back with a captain's hat and a fine cigar and watch the Dennis and Andy show. These guys are huge nerds, but they're the kind that you actually want to hang out with. Enjoy them. I do.
Well, hello, everybody. We're back with another exciting, titillating. Is it titillating or titillating?
Titillating.
So T-I-N-T?
Like sucking from the golden teat, which really does tie into today's movie review.
Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. Oh, yeah, it's a sequel. I mean, I have a hard time calling this a sequel because to me, it's just another chapter. Like, I didn't look at any of the Avengers movies as an example as sequels.
I don't consider this a sequel at all because the only character is Benoit Blanc. I mean, and this is just another thing. I consider this the same shared universe with another story.
Yeah, that's all it is. So, yeah, I mean, it's like, oh my God, I'm trying to remember of the specific character. I used to read James Patterson novels a lot with this one specific character. You know, a cop, obviously. And it's kind of like just another novel or whatever. So anyhow.
Yeah, we both enjoyed the Knives Out movie. We both enjoyed that one. So we definitely wanted to give this one a shot.
And this one actually had a theatrical debut in November. And then it was roughly, I think, a month later, it dropped over the holidays on Netflix.
Yep.
It's still in theaters, I believe. So if you don't have Netflix, you can go check it out there. So I told Dennis, I said, guess what's out on Netflix? He's like, what? I said, Knives Out, Glass Onion, whatever. I always do it backwards. I know it's Glass Onions, Knives Out Mystery. So we watched it.
On Netflix.
On Netflix. Unlike the previous review, if you haven't seen it, we reviewed the menu that we put up a couple days ago. So go check that out. Let's just say we had a little disagreement about that movie. I think this movie, we are on the same page. We've not yet talked about it between ourselves, so you guys will get the fresh take. This movie, basically, it has, like Dennis said, the recurring character, the world's best detective, whose name I already forgot, even though Dennis just mentioned
Benoit Blanc.
Benoit Blanc.
Batman of this universe. He is one of the greatest detectives.
He is back, played by none other than James Bond himself.
Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig. I was going to say Craig as the first name. Daniel Craig, yes. Daniel Craig, this is nice because he does a nice, where would you say his accent's from? New Orleans, maybe? It's not Southern.
He is doing a Southern, possibly New Orleans type accent.
Southern shift to New Orleans type accent. Because it's not deep South. So anyhow, that's kind of interesting. It was funny. Courtney, my daughter, we watched it together, and she's like, that accent he's doing is terrible. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I like
it. To me, it doesn't seem real, but it's an exaggerated fun. And that's what I kind of got away with this movie already, just from the accents. Edward Norton plays Miles Bron, who invites all of his friends to his island, his exclusive island.
Lavish.
So very similar. We're dealing with another movie with an exclusive island. He's a billionaire along the lines of like Elon Musk. And he has no accent. It's Ed Norton playing Ed Norton.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, I mean, I don't know if I'd sum it up like that, because when you say to somebody The Rock playing Dwayne Johnson, people get an image. But Edward Norton, to me, has enough in his film background to to me at least, not just go, he's playing Edward Norton. I think when he plays different characters in movies, they are different.
It's kind of like Paul Rudd, one of my favorites, but he always kind of plays a Paul Rudd. Ryan Reynolds, love him in everything he plays. He kind of
I
plays
don't
Ryan
know.
Reynolds. I kind of think that way of Ed Norton.
I can see where you're going. So I'm thinking of a couple like The Italian Job, and even when he played Bruce Banner as the Incredible Hulk, I can kind of see where you're going, but I wouldn't. I don't know. I don't place him even in the same category of like a Reynolds and a Paul Rudd. But anyhow, so he's the billionaire guy. You've got the eccentric cast you've got Dave Bautista, who actually, it's funny. I just saw an article saying out of the three main wrestlers that are now actors, Dwayne Johnson, Dave Bautista, John Cena, who has the better acting chops? And I agree with this article, and I think it's Dave Bautista.
I kind of do too. They're all meatheads, when you refer to them that way. I think Bautista's got the better acting chops. I think The Rock has the better presence.
The Rock definitely has the better presence. The Rock has headlined more movies by himself, even over John Cena. John Cena, to me, looks like he's trying to broaden out what he does. I mean, I know The Rock has done some comedies. John Cena has as well. But John Cena looks like he's trying to do...
Cute.
What's that?
The fire one that John Cena did.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But I think Bautista, when I see him play different roles, I don't just go, oh, it's Dave being Dave. Whereas Dwayne, The Rock seems like he's doing, a standard thing, except for Black Adam. Anyhow, this is Knives Out.
Dave Bautista plays Duke Cody, who's a Twitch celebrity, and brings his girlfriend, Whiskey, I think it is, to the island with him.
It's Whiskey.
And then Kate Hudson is the older she gets, the more she sounds like Goldie Hawn.
Oh my God.
Even Goldie Hawn fan, and her comments, the sweetness in her voice, she has really got some of her mother's charisma.
She really does. If anybody was going to remake Overboard, it should be her playing her mother's role. And then, Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, it should not have, but it should never be remade again. But she plays Birdie J, who's a magazine celebrity. She's in Hollywood, she does.
I almost got the sense
now.
Take away the sex tape, that she's almost like a Paris Hilton or Kim Kardashian celebrity type.
She could be. They imply a lot of things without coming out and telling you directly.
Yeah. She has an assistant. Believe it or not, Dennis, I don't know if you picked up on this. The actress that plays her assistant was in Daredevil.
Oh, yeah. No, I saw her. As soon as you saw her in the face, you're like, oh, that's Jessica. Henwick. She's actually, I adore her. So I thought she was fantastic. And
then you have, I'm trying to think, who are we missing? Besides
Kathryn Hahn.
Kathryn Hahn, that's it. Yeah. Well, no, she's a governor.
Oh yeah, you're right. Governor wants to be a senator.
She's current governor. Yes,
she's current governor. Wants to be a senator.
Yeah, I don't remember what state. It doesn't really matter, but she wants to be a senator. And then
we're dealing with Andi, who's played by Janelle Monáe, and she's the outsider in this. Even though we find out later she's the one who.
Wait, are we doing spoilers?
Oh, absolutely. We're already into it.
Okay, so yes, Janelle Monáe, who I thought when she was on screen she was captivating. I told Dennis that when I first saw Benedict Cumberbatch in Star Trek II playing Khan, I couldn't take my eyes off him. I thought he just grabbed you when he was on screen. And I really thought she did as well in this movie over every other actor. When she was on screen, I thought she stole the show. I thought she did a great performance. I did some more research on her, found out she's an actual rapper as well. Listened to some of her music. She has a fantastic voice. And the basic gist of the movie is like Dennis said, they all get invited to Edward Norton's island for basically a murder mystery that he's putting on. He's going to be murdered, and then his friends are going to have to figure out who did it. Now, as he set it up at the dinner the night before, he would still be around and they could talk to him and stuff, but he would give no clues away or anything of, to who killed him. And he paid this famous author to write the script for the murder and stuff to make it really involved, so it wouldn't just be something that they could figure out real easy. And they were all surprised when Andi showed up. Well, yeah, because the backstory is she introduced Edward Norton's character to everybody else, and they were all nobodies at the time, hanging out at this specific bar and stuff. The bar was called the Glass Onion, and she introduced all her friends to Ed Norton, and Ed Norton, long story short, becomes rich with Andi. They're kind of like a partner, and that's where he makes his money. And through his influence, he helps out all the other people become what they are today. So, but they had a falling out. Andi and Edward Norton had a falling out, and that's why they were surprised when she showed up. Andi showed up.
She basically got removed from the group. She gets forced out. And then he also finds out that we did miss one, Leslie Odom Jr., because he plays Lionel and Toussaint. And
that's right.
They've created this new energy source that he kind of wants to.
Right. He's a scientist.
To the world, and he's the scientist. So, yeah, basically, Ed Norton's character helps everybody with their failing or fledgling careers.
Yes. And I knew we left somebody out, so I'm glad you brought it up. And he was good, too. He was really good as well. I mean, I thought the whole cast really gelled together as an ensemble and worked off each other very well. And they all had very distinctive personalities and stuff.
And that I agree with you on. Actually, I think, to me, the story itself was kind of lacking. It was way too long. They needed to shave 20 to 30 minutes off this movie. But what really worked in this was the cast ensemble. It's a 2 hour and 19-minute movie.
Yeah, and it could have been 2 hours.
Under 2 hours. And but the chemistry that all of these characters had worked really well. And that really is the strength of this movie, is I enjoyed who the characters were and how they were played by each person. The storyline was weak. The thrilling, the suspense, the mystery was weak. But the characterizations and how everybody came together and the interaction was so fun and enjoyable. It kept me enjoying this movie.
Yes, that's what kept me entertained throughout it, because it wasn't, so they have the dinner. To get back to it, Edward Norton wants to host this murder mystery. Somebody kills him. They have to figure out who it was. Well, I love it. Mr. Daniel Craig, world's greatest detective, at dinner, just stands up and lays out in less than 5 minutes everything and who the killer was, everything. And Edward Norton gets pissed off and goes to talk with Daniel Norton privately, and he's like, "Do you know how much I paid for the writer to write this scenario?" And basically, you blew it in 5 minutes. So that was entertaining,
It was. My favorite character is from the very beginning of the movie. So each person gets brought. So this box gets delivered to everybody. And it is one of these puzzle boxes where you have to figure out how to open it. And there's ways. Is it sound? Is it light? And then as it opens up, and you have to keep solving each riddle within the box. And as you solve one, it opens up and another riddle comes. So they're all together on the phone doing it. And they're all trying to figure out, And Duke's mother is in the background, played by Jackie Hoffman. Oh, it's this type of a puzzle. Ma, stop.
Yeah, Batista was great yelling. And Dennis usually refers to the character name, and I usually refer to the actor. So I'll usually interject like this just so you know who we're talking about. That's Dave Batista's character. And yes, his mom's in the background nagging him about how to open the box. And she's right. She's
every single thing.
Because it's not just open the box, you're done. Then it's another puzzle, then another puzzle, then another, until you get to this onion, basically, that unfolds in it, and you pull out the invitation. And she knows everything. So that was good.
She was fantastic, and you couldn't help but laugh at that. And there are a lot of guests in this. So Ethan Hawke gets on there. They're on the boat, they're on the dock. And all of a sudden, Ethan Hawke comes walking. He looks all suave when he gets out there. And he basically, all he does is shoot something in their mouth, throat, because it's COVID time and they all
have masks on.
And he goes, you no longer need masks. Well, what have I? You no longer need them. That was his entire line.
Now, who was in the movie that I didn't see?
Who?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Who was he?
Where was Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
Because while you're thinking about it,
he wasn't in the movie. He was the voice of the dong. Where it goes dong, and he goes, I paid so-and-so to do that. That's the voice of him.
Okay.
Yes. There were a lot of guests in this, fun little guests. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you see, with Natasha Lyonne from Orange is the New Black. Stephen Sondheim, Hugh Grant's in it. They're all on like this Zoom call. And then Serena Williams, think is an ad on the wall. And then they're in there having their conversation. And she's all of a sudden the ad turns and she goes, do you need anything? I mean, you're paying for me.
Yeah, so to explain a little more, she is so Daniel Craig and is it Janelle Monáe?
Yeah.
So the detective and the woman that plays Andy are in the fitness center. And he has one of those new fitness things, which is called the mirror. In the mirror, unlike the movie, you turn it on and off, but when you turn it on, you can join live workouts. A friend of mine has one, or you can do a guided workout, and the mirror goes from being a full-length stand-up mirror to a screen where you're watching the workout fitness trainer take you through the workout. So Serena is the celebrity trainer. So these two are talking in the workout room, and like Dennis says, at first she's so still, you just think she's an image on the wall. But then she turns, she goes, are you guys, do you want to work out? What? Do you want something? And they're like, no. And she's like, whatever, it's your dime. So
it is. There's just so many cute little, cameos in this that kind of just make it fun. But they get there, and then all of a sudden, they've ruined it. So they want to address the elephant in the room, the fact that why is Andy here? And Dave Batista is the one who stands up. I guess I'll be the man. That's because, you're out. You're the loser in this whole thing. We all backed him and not you, and you're upset about it, and we get it, but basically you got to live with it. And then next thing you know, Dave Batista drops over dead after drinking something, and,
the mystery begins.
Yeah, and this is where it kicks off. So now we're actually into the plot, and the plot itself is pretty interesting, to a point where you're trying to figure out, well, who would have killed him? And now everybody's accusing everybody else. And is there motive? And then this is where it takes a turn when they kind of have some of the stuff figured out. And then all of a sudden they do a flashback, which ties in with, which is funny. I can't remember the name of the book, but there's a book that's sitting right on the Benoit Blanc's. He's in the bathtub at the beginning, and he's got a book.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a crime book, but it goes back in time. Elizabeth's got the book downstairs. She's giving it as a gift right now. And I'm like, oh my God, that's the same book from the movie.
Yeah.
And it's about it. So now we're doing a time travel back, and you can see that it is not Andi on the island. It's her twin sister that's been recruited, and they go through the whole thing. This is the part where, for me, whenever you're dealing with identical twins and stuff, it's just kind of lazy writing, and it's a trope that I've seen so many times.
Well, it's
And I'm
because
they could have
look, they're
done more.
twins. And look, we all know there's identical twins.
Yes,
you know, but it's okay. Well, she can do her hair that way, and she can lose her Southern accent and just talk like her sister did, because they're from the South, but her sister Andi moved up to New York and dumped her accent so she could fit in better and not sound like a dumb, Southern redneck, whatever. So, with no training at all or big time practice, her sister, dumps her accent and starts talking like her twin that died, Andi. And it's just kind of like, and like Dennis said, it is kind of lazy, because it's like, oh, just do the hairstyle and obviously the clothing, and nobody will tell. And the big gist is, I kind of guessed who killed Dave Bautista right out of the gate. I didn't think it was a big secret. Now, I didn't know why the person did it, but I was like, well, it's so-and-so. I mean, who else would it be? So I guess maybe did you guess that out of the gate?
So the two things is, and we always talk about this, as soon as we were watching it, I'm like, he did it. Again, yeah. I didn't know why.
And I think that was the mystery.
They tried to get you on these twists and turns, going, now he's got motive, now she's got motive, now he's got motive. But it always went back to the original guess. And there was no surprises, no, oh my God, I can't believe that. It was like, yeah, didn't need to be the world's greatest detective to figure that out. The whole parts about the Mona Lisa was kind of cute, what they did with that. And he actually has the real Mona Lisa there. And it's got all of this fancy security stuff that goes up with the slightest sound or heat, and it protects it. They really did have some cute stuff in there.
Well, see, the thing I think they do with these movies is kind of like you said, the overall story itself wasn't super engaging, but the characters were, so that's what enthralled you, but they also think out like the Mona Lisa and why he has it. And then you see the foreshadowing, obviously, when he's showing off all the security around the Mona Lisa. It's going to come into play later, but it's like they don't spend tons of time on the story, but they spend a lot of time on like these little details that they kind of drop in throughout.
It's what I always call the Electra Woman and Dinah Girl syndrome. So whatever the new girls were going to be put into their bracelets to save the day, that's what they're going to show. And that's when they showed it, you knew it was going to come into play, and it would be kind of interesting. It was engaging. There were parts that I really enjoyed. It was the characters that held it together. Ultimately, I think the story was a meh, and the mystery was a meh. But seeing everybody interacting together made it enjoyable, and enjoyable enough for me to say I'm glad I have watched it. I will never own this movie. It's a one and done for me. Unlike the first one, I do own a Knives Out, but I'm not buying this one.
Right. And I don't buy any movies, so that's that. I buy top quality movies. Back on my shelf, I've got Pumping Iron with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Lou Ferrigno from back in the day. I've got Hercules in New York starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, dubbed by somebody else because he couldn't speak well enough, one of his first movies. Or wait, no, that's Lou Ferrigno. Or is it Arnold? Now I can't remember, because I think Lou did one as well. And I've got the ever so awesome Green Lantern with
I was just going to say, I know you got Green Lantern because you're one of the three people who bought that movie.
That's right. But let's so look, we didn't spoil it. We didn't tell you who did the killing. We'll leave that for you to watch. Let's rate it.
Go ahead.
I will give it a 7.5.
Okay.
That's out of 10. We do a thing called the CGC scale. CGC is a book that grades comic books, and it goes from 0 to 10. So that's how we do it to be different because we're comic book guys. So I'm giving it a 7.5. Dennis, what say you?
And it goes from 0.5 to 10, but minor detail. I'm giving it a 6.0. It was the characters that made this good enough for me to watch. And it was fine. It was fine. I didn't regret sitting down and watching it, but it's not something I ever have to do again.
So, okay. So 7.5, 6.0, 13.5 divided by 2 is 6.75. So there you have it. What does Rotten Tomatoes and all those guys give it?
Rotten Tomatoes, apparently the critics love it at a 94. And it's getting a 7.3 at IMDb.
Look at that. We are right on target. So, guys, that is the review for Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. Take it for what you will. If you're looking for an entertaining movie, it does feel a little long. Check it out on Netflix and do that. Before we go, of course, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Kordrath, The Reckoning. That's right, the campaign that is blowing up the world. If you like Conan and Game of Thrones with a little Dungeons and Dragons mixed in, you will enjoy Kordrath. It's a book that I'm drawing, Dennis is writing. We came up with the concept and co-created it together. We are at $73,180, 1,171 backers, 29 backers away from 1,200 backers. I know we can get there to open up some more stretch goals for you guys. As of right now, there's 5 different covers to choose from. When you get here to the story part, read pages 1 through 8. I'll show you what happens. You can click it, and it'll take you to kordrath.com, the website where you can read pages 1 through 8. Look at that. They take up your full screen so you can read it and go through it. Look at that. Yes, you can put artwork on to the Indiegogo page, but as you can see, it's kind of small, and I want you guys to be able to soak in the artwork. So we do have some pages up here, but like I said, you can read pages 1 through 8 to get a sense of the story and where it's going. 5 different covers to choose from. You can get it all tier, which gets you every cover, and the artist edition, which is an oversized hardcover featuring the original art, because I draw it on paper, traditionally scanned in, so you can see all the blemishes and whiteout pencil marks and stuff. So you can buy that separately or in the Get It All tier. If you go to the website, there's a lot more stuff on the website to look at, and you can click the order button at the top of the website. Go back to it and show you guys right here. Click it, order now. Takes you to the Indiegogo page. So guys, go check out Kordrath. Support us, support the book. We are trying to bring you the best storytelling and art that we can. This is through Astonishing Comics, which is my brand. And we hope you guys will go check it out and back it. Ain't that right, Dennis?
That's right. Thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate everything. Getting on the mend from being sick over the holidays. So we're trying to kick 2023 and get back on track.
That's right. Until next time, guys, we'll see you later. Bye-bye, everybody.
Retribution! Oh yeah, we want retribution!